Hello everyone, guitarist Christopher here, and please welcome to Short Conversations number 4. In today's episode, we're going to continue our chordal exploration with another fun exercise, which involves the usage of a static note over which we're going to be voicing all the chords of a simple progression. Now to illustrate this, I'm going to take the same 2-5-1-6 progression in the key of C major, and we're going to use the C major scale located on the first string. So we're going to go like this: C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and back to C. And each one of those notes would become the static note over which all 4 chords would have to be voiced. This is a great way to study harmony on the fretboard, as it presents a few challenges. First of all, you're going to be forced and limited to stay in one position and have one soprano note over which all 4 chords have to be voiced. So it's going to get you away from the comfort zone, away from some of the traditional voicings that you might know, and it's going to force you to find different ways to invert and position the desired ingredients of each chord in that particular position. All right, we're going to start by taking the first note of the C major scale, and that will be the note C, and I'm going to try to voice all 4 chords of my progression over that soprano note. So first I have to identify what is the degree in which one of the chords. So C is the flat 7 of my D minor chord. I'm going to do something like this. C becomes the 11th or suspended 4th in my G7 chord, so maybe something like this for the G. C becomes the root in my C major 7th chord, so here's my C major with the root on top. And C becomes the sharp 9 over your A7 chord, and so maybe we're going to use a voice like this. So then I have all 4 chords with the same static melody note. So here's a D minor with C on top, G7 with C on top, here's C major with C on top, and A7 with C on top. Once we finish that cycle, we're going to go to the second note of the C major scale. That will be the note D. And now we're going to repeat the entire game, but find new voicings there. So D happens to be the root of my D minor chord. I'm going to voice something like this. D happens to be the 5th of my G7 chord, so maybe I'm going to give you something like this. A G7 sharp 5. Beautiful voicing. And then D is the 9th of your C major chord, so maybe a 9th voicing can look like this. And D becomes the 11th or suspended 4th over your A7 chord. It's a beautiful voicing. So now second cycle, same idea, static note without changing, forces you to get out of your comfort zone and figure out how those ingredients of the different chords invert and get positioned in that particular part of the fretboard. So here's the one on D. I'm going to have D minor, G7, C major, A7. And then I'm going to go to the third note of the scale. So now the note E. Now within the D minor harmony is the 9th. So maybe that can be my D minor 9 chord. E happens to be the 13th over the G7 harmony. So how about a 13 flat 9 for the G? E happens to be the 3rd of C major. So maybe I can voice something like this. C major sharp 11 with the F sharp in there. And E happens to be the 5th of A7, so here's an A7, a sharp 5. And you get the idea. Now, the game continues with each note until you pretty much get the entire scale harmonized. And you can also move the melody on different strings. You don't have to stay on the first string. You can move the C major scale. You can position that horizontally on the second string, find different locations for those voicings. You can also do it on the third string and so forth. And so I really hope you have enjoyed this, and hopefully this gives you some new ideas to introduce in your own chordal practice. If you like what you hear, you can follow the link below, and I have a PDF available with all harmonized options and all voicings written down for you with a specific labeling of extensions, alterations, and so forth. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.